February is Heart Awareness Month, and hundreds of people will step up and step out for heart health tomorrow at the annual West Alabama Heart Walk.
But for the chairman of this year's walk, it has a whole new meaning. WVUA reporter Jennifer Edwards joins us now live in studio with more in tonight's top story. Jennifer.
Robert Kuhn is the president of Capstone Bank in Tuscaloosa, and he took the position of chairman for the Heart Walk, never expecting heart problems to happen to someone so close to him. The importance of Robert Kuhn's position as chairman of the West Alabama Heart Walk quickly changed when his wife Linda had a heart attack less than a year ago.
It's been an interesting road, but it certainly, as I was working with the Heart Association and had this episode, it's certainly drawn, I think, both of us closer to what the American Heart Association does.
Linda Kuhn is 52 years old. She says heart attacks run in her family, but she never saw it coming.
As my mother said, of 4 children, I'm the most healthy, active. I would have been the last of her children to have experienced a heart attack.
Kuhn says she experienced mild symptoms, but brushed them off until they returned a week later.
The very next Saturday morning, I started having the exact same symptoms, except they were much more severe. Kind of like indigestion, but up in my chest, severe, just excruciating jaw pain. And by the time we got to the hospital, I also had the tingling down my left arm, so the classic symptoms. We got there, and I had a 99.9% blockage and required 2 stents.
Just 3 months after her surgery, Kuhn's heart was back to 100%. But both know how precious life is.
Would highly recommend just everyone just trying to take a little bit more time to eat right, take time for themselves, exercise.
Nobody ever thinks about those things happening to them, but if you're not eating right, if you're not exercising, then your chances go way up.
If you'd like to make a monetary donation or be a part of the West Alabama Heart Walk, it's not too late. For more information, you can find a link to the walk's website through our website, WVUATV.com. Just click on Numbers and Links. Philip?
All right, thanks, Jennifer. Now, on your home team crime watch tonight, a carjacking in Tuscaloosa in broad daylight. Authorities say a couple was kidnapped by their attacker and forced to drive to Bibb County. The suspect is charged with kidnapping and robbery. Here's a look at him. Police identify him as 28-year-old Robert Yates. He was arrested this morning in West Tuscaloosa. According to Tuscaloosa Metro Homicide Captain Lloyd Baker, it began around 3 o'clock Thursday afternoon at Creekside Apartments. The victims say Yates forced them to get into their car and drive to Bibb County. Then he demanded money, they say. Officials say the man told Yates he didn't have any money, and Yates allegedly pistol whipped him. The woman got away, and the man was pushed from the vehicle. Officials say Yates left the vehicle off Highway 82 in Bibb County. And according to Captain Baker, the suspect and the female victim once had a relationship.
Now a look at your weather. The skies have been clear for the last couple days, but will they stay this way for your Friday night?
Chief Meteorologist Richard Scott has a first look now at your weekend weather. Hello, Richard.
Hey, Philip and Lynn, good Friday evening. Still fairly mild this evening, but it's starting to get cooler. Notice 55 now at Tuscaloosa, still 60s down south. Utah reporting 60, Geiger back at upper 50s, but 49 in Haleyville. The cold air is coming, and hey, it's going to be a cold start to the weekend. Even tonight, a drastic drop in temperatures as a cold front moves in from the northwest. A few showers along that front. Behind the front, going to watch some upper level energy move in, and that could at least spark development of a couple of snow showers late tonight or a few snow flurries. No issues at all expected. Just a couple of flakes possible here and there as we go towards midnight and early tomorrow morning. We'll talk more about the forecast, plus look at the complete weekend forecast. Weather is straight ahead.
Tuscaloosa County Sheriff Ted Sexton's possible job offer in California has been put on hold for now. Sexton is a candidate for Chief of Homeland Security in the LA County Sheriff's Department. A spokesperson for the LA County Sheriff's Office says the sheriff has asked Sexton to go back to Alabama state auditors and answer some questions about an audit. The Alabama Department of Examiners of Public Accounts just released its audit of the Tuscaloosa County Sheriff's Office today. The LA County spokesperson says Sexton's appointment has been put on hold until this is resolved.
Hattiesburg, Mississippi is recovering after a tornado hit the city last Sunday. Red Cross volunteers from all across Alabama are heading to the area to lend a hand. A WVUA reporter, Marilyn Vaughn, shows you how they are preparing to help.
The staff of the American Red Cross is always on the ready, and when we feel like there is some potential inclement weather, we are already getting volunteers on standby.
Those volunteers on standby are now heading to Hattiesburg, Mississippi, where a tornado hit the town Sunday. And one of those volunteers making the trip is 66-year-old Ro Ford. She has been volunteering with the Red Cross for years and says it's more than work.
Red Cross is more than a job, I think. It just gets in your blood.
Ford has packed for a 3-week trip, but says she'll go back to Hattiesburg if she needs to.
If Red Cross needs me to deploy again, I'll be willing to deploy again. And if they needed me to deploy somewhere else, I'd be willing to deploy somewhere else.
Emergency Services Specialist Holly Maxwell says there are lots of things for the Red Cross to do once they hit the ground in Hattiesburg.
People are still out there cleaning up from the storms, so they need food, they need water, they need hot meals, they need snacks, things like that. So our ERV, Emergency Response Vehicle, will be out in those areas.
Maxwell says the Red Cross will stay until the job gets done.
We never know going in exactly what that timeline is. The American Red Cross is just committed to helping our neighbors in need, and we'll be there as long as it takes until those needs are met.
Reporting in Tuscaloosa, Marilyn Vaughn, WVUA News.
And Maxwell says the Red Cross is always in need of volunteers to work in Tuscaloosa and could also use volunteers willing to travel outside the area. To volunteer or to donate funds, just log on to alredcross.org. Spring now is almost a month away.
And spring means a lot of new things like flowers and even baby animals. We went over to the Tuscaloosa Barnyard today where they have some brand new baby chicks, ducks, and lambs. Owner Cammie Combs told us they're getting ready for those little ones to come and visit, and Combs says children can see how the animals live, pet them, of course, and spend time with lots of different types of furry friends. You can learn more about events at the Barnyard by going to our website, WVUATV.com. Just click numbers and links.
The disabled Carnival cruise ship Triumph is heading for repairs after it finally pulled into port.
And thousands of passengers aboard the Triumph are finally home after nearly a week stuck at sea.
The first buses carrying Triumph passengers arrived back in Galveston, Texas Friday, more than a week after the cruise ship departed on its ill-fated tour. Many are returning home with pictures they never imagined capturing. Camping on the decks, sleeping on the floor, toilets that didn't flush, trash piling up. These are the vacation memories Triumph passengers are trying to forget.
We were just out there, and like I said, now that I realize it, it's like, oh my God, you know, I can't believe that.
While passengers try to move on from the nightmare, the Triumph is moving on to a nearby boatyard for repairs, marking the end of its disastrous voyage. Passengers cheered and waved Thursday night as the disabled boat limped into the port of Mobile. Others hung signs like this one reading, "Sweet Home, Alabama." Celebration after days of unsanitary conditions and power outages. Before passengers disembarked, the CEO of Carnival offered this apology.
We pride ourselves in providing our guests with a great vacation experience, and clearly we failed.
As more than 3,000 passengers made their way off the ship, some vented their frustrations.
There are a lot of unhappy people on this ship, a lot of unhappy people because of the conditions.
Others are just relieved the ordeal is over.
After being on that boat for that long and not knowing when or how we were getting back, it was just so good to finally be back.
As the passengers head home on chartered flights, the investigation into what caused the engine room fire continues.